if you see everything in your life as a lesson, and not the lesson like for me when I was growing up, you're raised in a Christian, like everything. I went to an Anglican school. It was just like all this, a whole Christian upbringing. So, when you heard about a lesson, the lesson was more like a punishment. When you heard, oh, God is trying to teach you a lesson, it was more of a punishment. But I think, even if you have a religious perspective or a Christian perspective, you broaden that view of a lesson into, as you said, learning, and what that for you that lesson was compassion. Sometimes I've gone through things too, which has taught me compassion for other people. I remember going through a relationship that was emotionally abusive, and then after that, I became more compassionate to women who had all kinds of abuse, even physical abuse, because I would just say, then why should I just leave the man? I mean, him give her a 2 lick, should I just pack her bag and leave, like, pack your bags and leave, lady. But having been through that and just understanding for myself what it entailed, how subtle things can be sometimes, and just like how surprising, things can just pop up, and, it taught me, again, that experience taught me to be more compassionate to women and other people who are good, because you just, if you have not lived it, oftentimes you don't understand it. Unfortunately, that's how we are as humans. But if we think of this planet, as my friend likes to call it, and I kind of adopted he's like, this is Earth school. We don't know why we're here. We don't know where we came from before. We don't know this whole that we're talking about, this self that watches the voices, and this soul or the essence. We don't know where it, we don't know if it started at birth. We don't know if it started somewhere before. This is just a transition to somewhere else, or if it ends right here. We don't know. But it's, if you treat it as Earth school and learn the lessons, not lessons like you're being punished for being a bad person, but if you learn, you can, grow in ways that help you, I think, to help other people, because you being more compassionate or understanding when somebody brings that situation to you, or even that same situation with like emotional, verbal abuse, that kind of stuff. When people start telling me their stories, immediately I can like hear the symptoms and so on, and it's easier for me to kind of say, well, does he do this or does she do that? Because it can go both ways.
Right.
Does this happen? Yeah. How do you know that? Like, don't worry about it. But, this is what I recommend. Here are some places that you can go for help, or, here's something you can read. Here's a website, or here's a number for somebody who deals with this kind of situation or whatever. But, they're like, well, how do you know this? And it's like, I've gone through it, and like, when somebody else comes with something like that, and I'm like, well, you're not the only one. They're like, I could, give you the names of 10 people right now who are going through or been through it. I know I'm not going to tell you, but you're not alone. So, and I think it's that too that kind of helps. We help each other when we're able to provide that type of compassion, or just support that. Listen, you're like, oh, you get what I'm talking about. Because I guess we're the Oprah generation. Our parents never really spoke about stuff like everything, you keep this nice, like, don't air your dirty laundry. But, we're from the Oprah generation, where we talk about stuff so we can share and support each other more now.
And heal.
Yeah, heal.
Yeah. Well, thank you, Dr.
Thank
Sarah.
you, too.